Report a shot fired at officers trying to stop the vehicle.
We have one officer shot.
We got shots fired. Sounded like an automatic firearm.
Copy, code red, shots fired.
We have an active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the fairground.
Now it's Shots Fired with your hosts TJ Kurgan, Dinah Death Milberg, and the lovely Krystal Powers.
Welcome back to this week's episode of Shots Fired. This is your host TJ Kurgan, aka Sig Glocken Colt, and we got a wing dinger for you this week.
Really? We're just going to wing dinger right off the bat?
We're going to wing dinger it right off the bat. The other voices you hear laughing at me and being extremely condescending.
Okay, boomer.
Is Alex Dinah Death Milberg.
Formerly employed by TacticalSht.
Hi.
And the lovely Krystal Powers, who is dressed like a Sunday school substitute teacher today.
No.
It's
All
a
I can think
crop
of is
top.
Clueless. You look like you just walked off the set of Clueless.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're a clueless Sunday school teacher.
No, it's a, okay.
I like it. It's very wholesome. It's very wholesome.
It's a, okay.
What?
Went over your head higher than a Chinese balloon.
Oh, boy. Well, it's the radio, so what went over my head exactly?
Clueless.
Clueless. Oh, yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of. She looks like the chick off Clueless.
Well, welcome
That's a compliment. Thank
welcome
you.
to the show. So this week, we got a heck of a show for you. We're going to try to get through it. We've got all kinds of new bills in the House being put up from both sides, the anti-gunners and the pro-gunners. We've got some local news in St. Louis. People are just getting, executed in broad daylight on the streets
I don't even hide anymore.
without even putting up a fight. And people are videotaping it. We'll talk about that. It's good viral video. There's nothing better than a murdery TikTok.
A true story. Yeah, murdery TikTok.
And then later on in the show, we got a caller. It's a female warlord. We're going to bring her in probably the second or third segment. The reason we're bringing her on, she's actually an ammo queen.
That's fair.
She brings in ammo, gun parts, ammunition components from all over the world and gets them to the local warlords like me to then disseminate them to, the factions of patriots that are all around the country. So I was talking to her the other day, and she has done some incredible things to better her health. And I immediately thought of Krystal and her mission to make us all more healthy.
Yes, this is how we save the world.
Yes, and it's way more important than what bullets you use or what gun you use. But then towards the end of the show, the second half of the show, we are actually going to talk about that. We're going to do a Sweet 16 challenge.
It's going to be so difficult.
Not sure if we actually have enough for Sweet 16, but we're going to try to do a Sweet 16 bracketed challenge over this show and the next show where we each bring to the table 4 guns.
Yeah.
That we would want in the zombie apocalypse or a Chinese invasion, which are essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
The only difference between a zombie apocalypse and a Chinese invasion is zombies don't have drones. So we got to think about the drone aspect of it. That zombies have dogs, right? Those, the rotten meat dogs with all the flesh falling off of them.
Resident Evil, yes.
What's that video game?
Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil. Yep.
Got you.
So we got the Resident Evil dogs and the Chinese robot dogs, right? Mm-hmm. Could be treated basically the same way, but
they can't eat those ones, right?
No.
Okay.
No, that's probably why they have robot dogs, because they ate all the real ones.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the zombie apocalypse, the best zombie apocalypse guns. Each of us have brought a list of 4 guns. Now, the rules are you have to be able to carry these guns portable with you. So, in your trunk of the car, in the pickup truck. So they have to be portable, movable around. You can't get a howitzer. That's not going to count.
Well, thanks for ruining my plans.
And then you really need to think about the missions that you're going to be having in a post-apocalyptic world, and how to best that you can only carry 4 guns and those bullets. Which ones are they? So we're going to talk about those later. But before we get started on the fun stuff, let's talk about murder whacking in St. Louis.
Yeah, this is news to me. Like, I had heard something about it, but I'm going to be honest. Oh, someone got shot in St. Louis. Whoop-de-doo. Now I see why it's a bit more out of the norm.
I know when it's time to stop watching the morning news in the morning because you hear about the same person getting shot in North or South City or South County.
Yeah.
That they repeat the news every 30 minutes in the morning news. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as you hear about the same shooting, it's time to go brush your teeth.
Makes sense.
Right. So a shooting in St. Louis is not a big deal. I guess what made this one a big deal is, it was at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it slightly unusual because there are non-hood people around at 10 o'clock in the morning.
There's agreed upon murder whacking hours typically.
Yeah, and when I was a cop in that area, the murder whacking hours didn't really begin until 3 p.m.
Yeah, and typically I would think 5 p.m. till about 2 a.m.
Yeah, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. was the murder whacking.
Yeah, prime time murder whacking.
Yeah, 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. was sleepy time.
Yeah.
Nobody murder whacked during 90 time.
Have you ever tried to murder whack someone when you're really tired? I mean, you're just your enthusiasm's not there, your energy's not there. It's difficult to stay focused.
I personally, no, that does not apply to me.
Just me.
Really? You're a woman and you've never thought about murder whacking somebody during daylight hours?
Whoa. He said actually doing. Thinking.
Doing.
Alleged.
Okay. But you have thought about it.
Have I?
Wow. Many times per day.
In this room. 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, scoot over here. So it was broad daylight.
Yeah,
and it was two black gentlemen. That the news is reporting one guy, the guy that got murder whacked, is homeless reportedly. Yeah. Although I've heard from SF friends that actually have connections in St. Louis that there's something else going on that we don't know about, and the news isn't reporting on whether it's intentional or not, and that guy wasn't homeless and it wasn't a drug deal gone bad. So really don't know what goes on, but we just watched the video, which you can see. Hey, Drew, where can you see that video in its entirety? Twitter. Okay.
Do you know what location of St. Louis that was?
So yeah, just search St. Louis execution on TikTok. And you can watch the murder video.
Yeah, that's not
that's the world we live in now. How many likes does it have?
Oh, that's.
Why don't you check that out while we're talking about it?
That's an interesting perspective. I didn't think about. Yeah.
So it was broad daylight, but the guy, when you watch the video, the victim is sitting on the curb.
Yeah.
All right, like facing the street with his feet, in the street. His knees are up. He's just sitting on the curb. Reportedly, he had been shot by the other guy already, and because the other guy was chasing him from a gas station. It didn't
seem typical behavior of someone shot though. Like I've seen people shot before.
He did not look like he was. He did not look like he was in pain.
Looked like he just gave up.
He was not writhing around. He was not even acknowledging the bad guy standing behind him, fiddle farting with his gun for what seemed like an eternity. So the guy standing behind him, and here's the part that just blows me away. Somebody's videotaping this with their phone from around like the corner. And the guy videotaping it is like laughing that this guy's reloading his gun. He's like, oh, he's got to put a magazine in it, and then you watch this guy. Yeah, like you can see him he drops a bullet in the tube, and then he has to jiggle it around a little bit to get the bullet in the tube. Then he closes the slide, and then he puts his magazine in, and he probably puts it in backwards.
Well, high points aren't the most well-defined.
I mean, this is just it's a literal cluster F.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the guy that gets executed isn't even looking at him. Isn't talking to him. Isn't yelling at him. Don't shoot me, bro. Or please don't hurt me. And the guy finally gets his gun loaded, puts the gun like a foot away from his head, and pops him right in the thinking device.
By the way, was that 319 likes?
That's a 519.
519.
519, and that's just on one page. That's just on one.
129,000 views.
Yeah. Well, murder does really well on social media. Murder, boobs. What else?
Both.
Murdering and boobs. I did see that recently. There was some influencer chick that killed her boyfriend in Miami, and the TMZ shot of her handcuffed. She had like a boob out. It was all bloody. It was a bloody boob. That one went super viral.
People are weird.
Yeah, but not me. I didn't stare at it for long.
Okay.
Or save it.
So how about them Cardinals? They're playing baseball these days, right?
Yeah. So you said you had a story in reference to something similar to this story. Something. What was that about?
Man, I don't know.
Was it because I mentioned the bystander effect?
It might have been. What is the bystander effect?
The bystander effect, if you take any psychology class, you'll probably hear about this within the first week. And there's a name based off of a story, and the story comes from a real-life event that happened to a woman named Kitty Genovese. I don't remember what city it was in. I want to say it was New York. It was somewhere very well-populated. This woman was murdered outside a huge apartment building, And for many, many minutes, this was like decades ago.
Yeah.
For many minutes, she was screaming, "Help me, I'm being stabbed." And people looked out the window and they looked at her and they closed the window. And this woman could have been saved.
Right.
But everybody
everybody just-
assumed somebody else was going to do it. And this was before cell phones. And the perpetrator came back and killed her. And anyway, the bystander effect is the idea that people will just watch because there's no sense of responsibility. And there's no, that's why they say as a first responder, if you need assistance in a situation, you look at somebody and you ask for their name and you direct by their name because then there's accountability. Like, oh, this is my job. Otherwise, we're all just a bunch of strangers watching something happen to another stranger, and there's no personal connection to it at all. We might as well be watching it on a TV screen.
Right. I think it goes a lot to mindset too. And most people don't have the "I'm going to get involved" mindset, unless they've been a first responder or something.
Right.
But even this guy, the guy videotaping it, he's videotaping the whole thing. And then when the guy finally gets the gun loaded and pulls the trigger and empties this guy's bucket, he's like, "Oh my God, he shot him!" And it's like,
What did you
seriously,
expect,
bro,
bro?
that you just were sat there and gave a 5-minute narrative like you're a sports broadcaster color guy about how this guy's how funny it is watching him try to load his gun.
What did you think he was going to do? Try to practice?
And all that whole time, the guy with the phone could have charged the guy
Easily.
tackled him, knocked the gun out of his hand. It's literally unloaded. You can tell it's unloaded.
You use the phone in your hand to call the cops. Now, granted, he could have called the cops before he started recording.
Right. No, it's anyway. This is the crap you deal with in the jungle that is St. Louis. We gotta take a quick break.
I remembered what it was, so I'll
Good
talk
deal.
about it after
Write
that.
that down because we'll be back in like 90 seconds. I know you don't have that much stay power. We'll be back right after this.
Hey guys, we're back. Alex, do you want to go ahead and tell us? Do you remember?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I actually remember this time. I had to keep saying it in my head so I'd remember. So we had a customer call in one morning from New York, and the dude was like panicking, hyperventilating over the phone, ranting about pepper spray. And at first I thought he was just kind of a weirdo. And once the dude calmed down, he apologized and told me what had just happened. He lives in just outside New York City in Brooklyn. Apparently, if you're from Brooklyn, you make sure everyone knows you're from Brooklyn. So he made sure he told me he was from Brooklyn no less than 5 times. But he had to drive into the city to do some contracting work. He was a construction worker. And on his way in, this is like he said, like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, he was at a traffic light, and 5 guys are chasing after and attacking this Hispanic guy. And the Hispanic guy is literally screaming and pleading for help. And broad daylight, he said, there's 3 cars, him and 2 in front at this red light. And one of the guys pulls out a foot-long steak knife and all of a sudden starts stabbing this dude.
Oh,
One car took off at the red light, just blew through it.
Yeah.
Another car rolled down his window and just started videotaping it. And our customer in the third car, it's New York, can't have a gun on you. He doesn't live in the city, so he doesn't have a city CCW permit, which takes 2 acts of God and an act of Congress to get.
right.
So I can't say it in the way he did because he's from Brooklyn, so most every other word was a cuss word. But he launched his Subaru at the crowd
Oh, look
and
at him.
was able to get all of them to take off running away and slam on the brakes so he didn't run over the victim and save the dude's life. But the fact he was absolutely beside himself furious that a car just sat there and the guy rolled down his window and videoed the whole thing on his phone.
Okay, I have something to say about that.
Yeah.
We don't have a caller, do we?
We do, but go ahead. We're getting ready to bring Clover on.
Okay, so did you guys see the video this week of the older gentleman who was attacked by dogs? So there were, I don't remember the name. I want to say they're Staffordshire Terriers or whatever. There's a video a woman took. She was sitting inside her car, and most of it was blurred out because it was quite bloody.
Yeah.
Of 2 dogs who had attacked this old man. He was on the ground, and they were ripping pieces of it looked like flesh, but it was clothing off of him.
Yeah.
He later died. They also attacked.
Must not have been just clothing.
Right. Oh no, it was one dog was pretty bloody. And So I watched this video, and that's why I didn't watch this one, because it really bothered me. I was like, I got to protect my peace here.
Yeah.
In the comments, which, I love to read on videos, a bunch of people were asking, hey, instead of just recording lady, maybe you could have gotten out and done something. And there's lots of debate about whether she could have actually, this sounded like a somewhat older lady who was doing what was probably the safest thing for her with these dogs attacking. Later, I saw a video of 3 firemen holding axes or hatchets, I don't know, whatever they were, trying to control these dogs to get them back in their yards. And the point of the woman could have used her car because she was in it, obviously.
Yeah. That car is a weapon.
But beyond that, if you don't have a weapon on you and you don't have the mindset of, I'm going to jump in here and do something about this, what do you... I don't know, some people don't have that. I do. I've broken up things, but the weird thing is when something, an emergency happens, I'm very calm and I just do what needs to be done. And I think that's based on things in my past that have been traumatic. But I don't think, this is going to sound really weird, I don't think a lot of people have been blessed with a traumatic incident in which they could have learned from.
No, I was talking about that with my wife the other night, that I think there's a lot of people who haven't had messed up stuff happen to them. They've lived a relatively sheltered life, haven't had anything traumatic happen. But second, just to piggyback too, another thing I think is you're inundated with watching, war has been, graphic videos of war footage has been streamed for a while. Shootings like this have been streamed. We're so accustomed to looking through a screen that I think if you start recording it with your phone, there's a disconnect. It becomes no different than watching a video of it.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the problem too. And I think that's why people feel the necessity to record, is that it does some sort of disconnect when they start looking at it through their phone. Because notice, if you watch people do it, they're not like holding it here recording. They're looking through their phone recording it. And I feel like they feel safe and protected from that. Just a theory.
Yeah.
But it makes sense in my brain.
Totally.
So we've got a caller. It's Clover, and we're going to be bringing her on in just a second. Clover is a warlord queen.
That's fair.
We get a lot of ammunition and arms and whatnot from her connections and from her. She also, not just gets stuff from me, but other warlords around the country rely on Clover to supply their stashes. And so her and I talk all the time. And the reason I brought her on the show, and we don't have a whole lot of time left, but the reason I brought her on the show is because she has been a vegan for 10 years. Is that correct?
No, 5.
5 years.
Correct that, yeah.
Seems like an eternity, probably. So she's been a vegan.
It does.
Pro-gun conservative woman, but she was a vegan, and now she's changed that, and it's changed her life. Clover, tell us the story.
My son has an aversion to meat.
Okay.
And he was living with me until about 4 months ago, and now I am an empty nester, and it's the best thing ever. I don't know why people don't do this more often. He would have never lived if he would have known that I was doing what I'm doing now. So basically, I only did vegan, or I would say plant-based whole foods, because I feel like you can be an unhealthy vegan if you eat a bunch of packaged junk.
Right.
So I did it for about 6 months, thinking that I could potentially turn my health challenges around. And I felt good in about 6 months. It was like a cleanse, And after 6 months, steadily, it started going downhill.
So 6 months after you started eating a vegan diet, your health started going downhill?
Correct.
Okay.
Dramatically.
And so now fast forward now, you decided to do a carnivore diet, to go completely the other direction. And how long have you been doing that?
I've only been doing that since February, the beginning of February.
And tell me about what's happened since then, because that's the amazing part of this story, and I think Krystal's going to get a kick out of it.
First of all, I will tell you, I didn't go vegan and the next day eat carnivore, because I had done a couple of times where I'd had a little bit of meat, and it really kicked my ass.
Mm-hmm.
So I did gradually bring meat into the picture, still eating plenty of stuff. And about November, I ate mostly microgreens, salads, and vegetables, and then meat. And then and I still wasn't having any good success. My blood pressure was almost hospitalizable.
Right.
I was having, like 198 over like 102. Horrible. And I'm having pain literally almost everywhere from osteoarthritis.
Okay, so your health is
Oh, wow.
completely gone downhill from the vegan thing, and then you start making a transition to carnivore. We're going to go to break. We'll come back and finish listening to this story because it's fascinating, and I think it'll help other people out there that,
I hope so.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Oh yeah, we're back with Clover, the Warlord Queen, who we're not talking about guns and ammo with her. We're talking about health because this show is also about being able to survive a fight, right? And growing old and free and protecting yourself and your family, right? And health is a big part of that. And so Clover was telling us in the last break that she was a vegan for 5 years because of her son. Her health went downhill, started going downhill 6 months after becoming a vegan, just continued to get worse. Blood pressure, osteoarthritis, all kinds of issues. And then recently, she's decided to go the other direction. She transitioned from vegan to a carnivore diet. So, Krystal, bring it home.
I have so many questions. Hi, Clover. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, get to
How are you?
Good.
Get to the
How are
meat
you?
of the story.
Oh my gosh.
Good.
Okay, I am just so okay. So you were vegan, and then how did you hear about becoming carnivore? Because I feel like not a lot of people even know
Michaela
about that.
Peterson.
Oh, very
Jordan
cool.
Peterson's daughter is a Lion Diet girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like listening to her on YouTube. I'm kind of a YouTube junkie.
So you decided to try it, and then how did you switch over? Because you're right, that's like a huge shock to your system as far as digesting all of those vegetables.
Yeah, it took a few months to do that.
And then, so what do you eat now?
I kind of gradually went into keto, basically.
Uh-huh.
And then now I'm doing, which keto is like under 50 grams of carbs. And now I eat maybe 2 grams of carbs if I'm lucky, but I might not have that many.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm definitely 100% carnivore right now for at least the next 90 days.
So when you oops, hit my mic. So when you pick your meal plans, do you have a percentage of beef or chicken or fish or eggs or?
No, I kind of eat whatever I want.
Very cool. How do you feel?
Like yesterday, I ate a big old slab of salmon. I mean, I just eat what I want. Sometimes I eat 5 eggs and a whole package of bacon because, that sounds good.
Hey, that's
does
making
sound
me
good.
hungry.
That sounds amazing.
And so you're eating eggs and bacon and fish and steak,
Right.
and you're doing a very minimal carb diet. You were telling me that you're what
A lot of fat. I'm actually cooking fat and eating fat.
Okay, and so you've been doing this for how long now?
I'm putting 2 tablespoons of butter in my coffee in the morning, too. I've been doing this since the beginning of February.
Okay, so about a month and a half or so?
I guess so. It seems like time's flying.
Yeah, and in that time, though, what you were telling me on the phone the other day, the reason I have you on the show is that you feel amazing now, and your blood pressure is down.
Oh, yeah, you were alluding to your...
My blood pressure is 134 over 80
Nice.
this morning.
134 over 80 with 2 teaspoons of butter in her coffee this morning. All the things that the
2
world...
tablespoons.
2
of butter.
tablespoons
You're
of
right,
butter.
buddy. Got to put that good in there.
I might have to try that. Butter in my coffee.
It's keto coffee, isn't it?
Or coconut oil.
Yeah.
It's basically similar to keto coffee. With this diet, I eat a lot of salt as well. I don't drink as much water as I used to because carbs require water.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's very weird, and I'm not dehydrated.
Interesting. Well, we're not here to promote any kind of diet, but I think basically what I wanted to get out of this was
all of my arthritis pain's gone except for one joint,
that's amazing.
and I literally hurt in every joint in my body
In 30 days of eating meat.
in 30 days.
So what I'm getting at, the thing I wanted to establish with this, and Clover, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day importing ammunition and arms to this country to help us all with our freedom. I wanted to get the story across that, that you were a conservative pro-gun woman that was keto for a reason. You like animals and you didn't want to eat meat. Your son couldn't eat meat, whatever. And now, but
Never
it
about
caused,
that. Always about health.
Yeah, it was always about health, and now it ended up hurting your health. And now by going completely the other direction with all the things that the doctors tell us not to eat, the raw meat, the butter, and all this stuff, the salt. Your blood pressure is 130/80, and you eat salt heavily every day, and you don't drink a lot of water.
Yes.
It's everything doctors tell us not to do. Krystal, what do you think's going on
Oh
there?
my gosh, I have so much to say here. I feel like
know.
so many people have this.
I want to recommend a book. Can I recommend a
Oh
book?
yeah,
Sure.
It's called Lies My Doctor Told Me.
Oh, great book. That's a fantastic
It's by Dr.
recommendation.
Ken Berry.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. I'm actually on his chat platform because I needed somebody who I could talk to. Honestly, I don't have a lot of friends who eat only meat.
Mm-hmm. Well,
My butcher loves me.
Alex will be your friend. Alex likes to have meat parties in its mouth all the time.
True story. True story. Yeah, I love meat
Hey,
parties.
Clover, we're gonna go have a meat party later, but right now we gotta get off here because we have to talk about the zombie guns of the apocalypse. Clover, what gun, if you could have only one in the zombie apocalypse, what gun would you be carrying?
Oh my God. How much ammo can I have?
as much as you can carry.
As much as you can carry in your vehicle.
Oh, okay. A 300 blackout.
300 blackout?
Ooh, yeah.
Suppressed?
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
with Clover on this one.
Okay.
And I have one with a little SBR with a little good scope on it. You know.
Nice. You got a whisper pickle on it?
I love whisper pickles.
Oh, interesting. No, mine's before that. I've been around for a while, TJ. I have to update my stuff.
Okay. Whisper pickle is just another phrase for suppressor.
Oh, I do have one of those. Okay.
All right. See what I mean? She's a warlord queen. 300 blackout suppressed. SBR is what she's rolling with in the zombie apocalypse. Clover, thanks for calling. I will talk to you later when I order another 1,000,000 rounds of ammo from you.
Sounds good.
All right. See you. Bye.
Have an amazing day.
Yeah, you too. All right, guys.
All right.
We've got just a little bit of time left to get into the meat and potatoes of this show.
Very punny of you.
The zombie meat.
I'm so ready. I
Zombie-
think I'm ready.
Zombies are carnivores. They got the carnivore diet going
Yeah,
on.
totally.
Are we going to take our headphones off now?
Oh, yeah.
Mine are
That was-
crackly. I think these are like headphones for a 5-year-old.
So
I'm sorry. That's all I have.
it's a low budget radio station. That's okay. In the zombie apocalypse, you can. The rules are in this Sweet 16 competition. You know, March is here. We're doing a Sweet 16. It's going to be the next couple shows. We're going to figure out what is the ultimate 4-gun collection for the zombie apocalypse.
Can I go first?
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me
You've been chomping at the bit.
let me
I
establish
put so
the
much
rules.
thought into this.
You can only pick 4 guns.
Yeah.
And we want specifics. You
And
know,
you can't be like, oh, a nuke.
Yeah, no. It has to be realistic. You have to be able to carry it on your person, and all 4 of those guns. You have to be able to have to be portable enough to bring them around with you in a vehicle, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, you did
truck.
say vehicle.
Right. So I mean, you could
You
have.
know, I actually didn't remember you saying vehicle, so I was thinking I'm hand carrying all of these.
No, you can. You theoretically, unless there's an EMP before the Chinese invasion, you're gonna have a vehicle of some sort to move around with. So.
By the way, that looks like it may be more realistic considering what the news is just popping up as a breaking alert.
What's going on right now?
The U.S. just pledged 560. I couldn't see if it was million or $1 billion in
Probably
arms
billion.
and munitions to Taiwan.
Oh, good.
Apparently, China right now is not happy.
Yeah, I saw earlier today, not to get off subject, but I saw earlier today that a bunch of senators and congressmen are dumping stocks of a Taiwanese tech company.
Something's about to happen.
That evidently said that if Taiwan was invaded, they would destroy that tech company and all the engineers would leave the country immediately so that they could protect their technical knowledge. And now all of a sudden senators and congressmen are dumping that stock. So we may have an imminent invasion of Taiwan, but everybody's kind of known that's coming. People are saying 5 years. I'm not thinking it's going to be that long. But nonetheless, let's get back to the zombie apocalypse or the Chinese invasion, whichever comes first, right?
Doesn't matter as long as we use the correct pronouns.
Hey, can you imagine what it would be like if the zombies were Chinese? How would they? How could you? Can you make zombie noises in Chinese?
God, Bless.
Would that be what it sounds like?
Bless you for that.
What was that?
Chinese zombie, bro.
You were gargling.
What? I don't know. Anyway, let's do it. 4 guns,
Okay.
portable, and we're
Okay.
going to judge these guns on the following criteria. When we choose them, we're going to judge them by let's see here, post-apocalyptic ammunition availability. Right. We're going to talk about murder power.
So if you choose a 6.5 PRC, you might be.
Well, I mean,
kinda
you can
screwed.
choose it, but we're going to judge it
Yeah.
based on that
Yeah.
individually. Portability, range and mission set effectiveness, as well as but not least, sex appeal, because that is important in the zombie apocalypse.
yeah.
So, Krystal, you have the floor. Tell us about your gun
can I
fantasy.
just caveat
You're being heavily
this by
judged, by
saying
the way.
the sex appeal was added right before the show, and I got very, very practical with this. Okay, so my number 1 was a Ruger 22, specifically just for food.
What, can you define which Ruger 22? Are we talking like a Ruger Mark IV pistol or a 1022 rifle?
Rifle.
Okay.
And it is 5 pounds, not counting the ammo, so I can carry that around.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be like, I can sling that over my back, and that will be like, it's never even there until I need to use it. Not going to use that that's just for squirrels or I have to eat in the world where I'm probably alone and in a desert. I don't know. This was based upon my imagination. Okay. Number 2 was an AA-12 with a drum.
Ooh.
Yes.
After the show, I have a video.
A Sol
of me.
Invictus Arms
Yeah.
AA-12.
Okay,
I ran one.
it's 10.5 pounds,
Yeah.
so I can carry this also. We're up to like 15 pounds. Its purpose, obviously, food. I could, if I wanted to, and protection.
You can rabbit hunt with it.
I can.
Yeah. Is this a fully automatic AA-12 or one of the
Yes.
civilian semi-autos?
No, fully automatic.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Also, can I just read this? Because I did a little. I talked with my husband about this, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna want an AA-12." So I looked it up, and I was reading about it for like an hour.
Okay.
Okay. When the gun was designed, one of its main benefits was that it reduced felt recoil. It went from being blowback operated to gas operated with a fixed bolt. Total of 80% of the recoil is utilized by the gas system, and another 10% is absorbed by a recoil spring, leaving the user to feel only 10% of the recoil compared to a normal 12-gauge shotgun.
Okay.
Perfect for me.
There
No,
is
I'm not-
literally no recoil on that firearm.
Yes,
It's the
that's what I
weirdest
know.
that's
thing.
what I read, which
Alex
was
and I
very
have both
impressive.
fired the AA-12 in full auto, and it is something to behold.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, and
Although
then
I've got some argument against it later, but that's okay.
I
I'm not
also found, so it was bought by Military Police Systems a while ago, and they changed a few things about it. And one of the things that they changed the internal components to make them stainless steel. Therefore, they claimed the gun only requires cleaning and lubrication every 10,000 rounds, which is something that I'm going to need because if it doesn't work, I'm going to have to fix it. And there's probably not a bunch of like manuals laying around.
no, that makes sense.
So number 3, a Glock 17 9mm, just
Smart.
everything, you know.
Your general purpose firearm.
Yep. And then my last one is an AR-10, which I kind of cheated a little bit since you have to carry it around. I assumed I'm going to be able to find shopping carts. I don't remember you saying vehicle, so I was thinking I have to carry all of these on my persons. I'm going to find a shopping cart, and I'm going to mount my AR-10 to my shopping cart.
So you have an AR-10 mounted on a shopping cart?
Yes.
Wait, you have to define though what caliber AR-10.
Does it matter too much?
Well,
Ammo
commonly
availability does.
AR-10s are 308, but
Yeah.
they can be anything in the 30 cal spectrum,
Which one's more? I don't know. I feel like
except for
308.
300 Blackout and 7.62x39. Those are 30 cal spectrum, but they would fall into the AR platform. So anything in the big bore 308 plus platform, 6.5
308 is
Creedmoor, stuff like that.
Yeah. 6.5's hard to
pretty
get.
easy.
I would
Fine,
go
right?
with 308 all day long
Yeah.
because that's a NATO round. It's been around. It's a Winchester round. It's been around a long time. It's globally available.
Right.
You know, it's probably one of the most common ammos that you're going to find when you're raiding your neighbors' houses.
Easily.
Yeah.
originally I was going to go with a SMAW and just stick it in my shopping cart, but my husband talked me out of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
where are you going?
How many
to
guns
find
have we done right
ammunition?
now? What,
So that was my 4.
okay. Summarize them again. Just the guns.
So I've got the Ruger 22 rifle. I've got the AA-12 with a drum. I've got the Glock 17 and the AR-10.
All right. Well, that's Krystal's 4 guns for the zombie apocalypse or the Chinese invasion, whichever comes first. We will be back after this with Alex and my decisions. 3, 2, 1. We are back. I like to steal Drew's thunder when he does the count in.
Yeah.
Hey, we are talking about the zombie apocalypse. We're doing the bracketed challenge for March. This is just the beginning of the challenge. There's only 3 of us on the show, so today we're only bringing up 12 guns.
Yeah.
So we're not even ready to really start voting on these guns until next week.
Who's bringing
we're
the other
going to have
4?
to get some more people. Like maybe the people listening to the radio show can suggest guns on the app that we could consider.
Or send me a DM on Instagram.
Or you could send any of us DMs on
read that.
Instagram, and we could kind of bring those guns in.
Yeah.
We could also bring in probably Fat Dark Earth, or formerly known as FDE, whatever. We could bring in him and a couple other guys to get a total of 16. But today we're getting to 12. And, or you know what? We could just go with the 12. I don't care. But my 4 are as follows. I decided.
All right.
Now, this is kind of, your dream guns, it doesn't matter.
I'm curious to hear your list.
Well, but I actually kind of kept it simple because I actually chose 4 guns that I actually have, because they are the 4 guns that if the zombie apocalypse or the Chinese invasion happened tomorrow, that I would.
You're already ready.
That I'm going to grab.
Yeah.
Right? Now, those 4 guns are as follows. I originally thought about going with the Glock 19 because, I fired 20, 30, 40,000 rounds at a Glock 19s. Easy to fix, blah, blah, blah. 9mm, it's everywhere. It's the most common handgun on earth, the Glock 19.
Mm-hmm.
But I decided at the last second today to change it to a SIG 320.
Okay.
Really?
All right, SIG 320 MK18. The reason is because I want that SIG 320 in a Flux Defense Raider.
Okay.
And Flux is not currently manufacturing a Raider for the Glock.
Okay.
Okay.
I see why.
The Flux Defense Raider, which is it shoots like an arm brace out the back when you push a little button, and it's got an extra mag. It carries an extra mag in front of the SIG 320 that it actually acts as a forward grip. And when you drop the forward grip mag, it automatically drops the mag, and so speed reloads are awesome. Put a red dot on top of this thing. You are accurate on zombie heads at 50 yards. And you can have extendo mags in both of them. You're carrying probably 50 rounds on the gun. Super lightweight, can sling it. Single point sling behind a jacket. Nobody even knows you have it, right?
Yeah.
So that's my EDC during the apocalypse is a SIG 320 in a Flux Raider. Then I'm going to go with Old Bessie. Just like Clover, I'm going with a 300 Blackout Mark 18 Daniel Defense with a 10.3-inch Noveski stainless bead blasted barrel and a SDN6 suppressor.
Yep.
I am going to take a little hit there because 300 Blackout is not commonly available. It's getting there. It's getting there. But I think that's what I'm gonna do because I want something quiet. Yeah. I need a quiet gun, and no matter how much you suppress a 223 or a 5.56, it's never going to be quiet.
Yeah.
Okay. A 300 Blackout, I can murder whack you, and somebody will think that somebody dropped a paperclip on the floor. Now, next gun, because the 300 Blackout has no range, and its murder power isn't ranking as high.
True.
I'm going to go with a Scar 17.
Oh.
Yeah, Scar 17 with a L-can 1-6. That way I can push my battlefield out to 800 yards.
I didn't think anything about all the fun doodads I could have added to these.
Oh, doodads. We can talk about doodads.
Really disappointed.
We don't even have to vote. We don't even have to vote today.
Yeah, you can.
We can talk about doodads. You could doodad your doodads up.
Okay.
So I got my Scar 17 308 7.62 by 51 NATO common ammo. That can push my battlefield out. It gives me kind of a precision rifle without really being a sniper rifle. I decided not to do a sniper rifle.
See,
the Scar 17 is as far as I need to go.
But when are you really, really going to use it?
Right. I mean, if the zombie's 8,000 yards away from you, why you need to kill it? Right. So anyway.
Well, it depends. Are you talking about zombies, which are unintelligent, brain dead, and can't really fight back? Or a Chinese invasion where you might actually be fighting an armed opponent.
Chinese invasion, the Scar 17 is going to be efficient, but I would have probably rather had something a little like a 6.5 Creedmoor or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the gun I'm choosing. I can only choose 4, and I have to defend my argument.
Okay, so what's number 4?
Number 4 is, and Alex is going to he's going to go off on this one, but an FN SAW full auto.
Oh, interesting.
5.56 squad machine gun. Now, I thought about it. I could have done a 240 Bravo, which I know is going to probably be one of Alex's choices, or at least it might be, which would have been a 308 caliber. It would have been more reliable. but it also would have been way more heavy.
But if we can transfer these in a vehicle, you can have a door mount and then have that as your door mount gun.
Correct. I like the fact that the saw is 5.56, and again, very commonly available ammo. Although I need to pick up my links. So that's my 4.
Yeah.
So it's the SIG 320 and a Raider, Scar 17, 300 Blackout, Mark 18 suppressed, and a saw. Alex, what do you got? We got 5 minutes to get through it.
So 240 is one of them.
Okay, so I was right.
Yeah,
because you're a machine gunner, and I knew you would go for the 240. You always have a love for that gun.
There's a shortcut to it I've developed.
Okay.
I'm not using the issued one. I would use Barrett's 240L, the lightweight.
Yeah,
because still heavy, but it's 19 pounds instead of 26.5 pounds, and that little bit of weight does make a difference. It can be shoulder fired. I would primarily have it as door mounted or vehicle mounted. But I know for a fact
you guys suck. I thought I was cheating with my shopping cart mount.
But also, I know I could hump the 240 if I had to. It would be excruciating because the gun itself is not what sucks. It's humping the ammo for it that sucks.
Yeah.
But again, 308's plentiful. I struggle with this one. I did feel like I needed, the same as you, have some sort of precision rifle. But especially if we're talking actual combatives where somebody might fight back. 308 just isn't giving me the distance I want, so I picked a Barrett MRAD in 300 Win Mag.
Okay,
probably as common of a round as 308, but much more oomph. That pushes the distance envelope to where I know personally I can push 308 out to 1,000. I know it can be pushed further. I know I cannot push it out further, but I do know a 300 Win Mag I should be good out to about $2,000 with the right optic. So we've got the 240, we've got the Barrett MRAD and 300 Win Mag.
Yep.
I would say my next setup, this one I struggled with a lot, but I decided against what I originally wanted, which was going to be a 300 Blackout like you. I'm going to go with an 11.5 inch 5.56 with an LPVO. It's the perfect close to medium range, lightweight, can be used for hunting and everything else. I wanted to do 300 Blackout, but my 4th and final pick covers both the handgun and the close range Quiety Boy.
Okay.
MP5K PDW.
MK5 what?
MP5K
MP5
the PDW.
KPDW.
Yeah.
All right.
Suppressed. Reason being it's 9mm. At that point, it was a little bit more than a handgun, but the whole point of a gun, the only reason to pick a handgun is for conceal and carry options or as a sidearm. But I'm not worried about it in this situation. So HK sling, meant to be able to engage, I'd run that or have a backpack with a side folder. I'm set. It's not much more weight or bigger than a handgun, but suppressed, it's as quiet or quieter than 300 Blackout. The range, not much difference. 300 is going to go a little bit further, but again, I've got my 11.5 for that distance. Right. So with these 4 firearms in my mind, this covers me from 1 yard away out to about 1,800 yards of coverage. I know for a fact with the 240, I can engage out to 1,200 easy.
Your sphere of deadly influence is immense. I like your list.
Yep.
I really do. It made me think, and I forgot, I do want a WIT Mod 1 suppressor, 9mm suppressor on my 320. So I'm going to go ahead and say my 320 has a short, ultra compact combat suppressor, CQB suppressor on it.
I would suppress everything but the 240.
Yeah. Yeah, suppression's good because then the zombies don't know where you're at when you're engaging them. So that's cool.
The 240, it's too much heat retention, and that affects the beaten zone and the barrel and all that stuff. I don't want to mess with that.
Right.
Don't mess with perfection.
Well, I'll tell you what, the 240 Bravo or the 240L from Barrett with 19 pounds. It's probably what I should have chose because the saw is 17 pounds.
17.
Yeah, 17 pounds empty.
Yep.
I imagine the 19 is empty. So now 308 ammo weighs a lot more. So 100 rounds of 308 is going to weigh a lot more than 100 rounds of 5.56. But anyway, so that is our guns for the zombie apocalypse. Show's coming to an end. Next week, we will actually vote on each other's guns. We will narrow it down. We will bring in a couple more people to next week's show. We'll get a total of 16 of these, and then we will vote by the end of the show. You can put it in the app what you think should be in this. What are we leaving out? What would you do? What 4 guns would you want in the zombie apocalypse in the app, or just comment it in social media, wherever you're watching this, because it is available. This show is a podcast available everywhere podcasts are found. Make sure you subscribe, hit the thumbs up, comment. I'm going to extend this just a minute. We'll edit some of this out of the show because we need to talk about something very important. So we just signed a 24-week contract with this radio station to keep this show going and to put the show in syndication across all their channels. Right?
Excellent.
So you guys got to listen to this show, Shots Fired, with my knucklehead friends here and me, the knuckle dragger, for the next 24 weeks. In order to continue it past the 24 weeks, we need to know you're listening and that you like the show or you love the show. The best way that you can do that is support us at TacticalSht in St. Peter's. Come support us at our store. Alex is there almost every day. If Alex isn't there, see Justin. Tell us you love the station, you love the show, or hit us up on social media. Subscribe to this podcast. Text the word tactical to 59769. That's the word tactical. Send it as a text to 59769. Standard text message data rates may apply. That's the end of the show. We'll see you guys later.